Are you trying out a low-carb vegan diet but have no idea what to cook or what to eat? Well, have no fear, friends, because I'm sharing with you my top 5 favorite low-carb vegan meals that I eat all the time, and spoiler alert, they're delicious. What's going on, guys? I'm Nicole, the creator of More Salt Please, and I'm so happy that you've landed on my channel. I love sharing low-carb, plant-based recipes, kitchen and meal prep hacks, wellness tips, and mukbangs every single week. So if you haven't already, make sure that you subscribe and hit the bell so you're notified every time I post a new video. And without any further ado, let's get into it. I want to preface this video by saying none of these recipes are strictly keto. There are definitely ways that you can make them keto, but these are just traditionally lower carb vegan or plant-based recipes, and they might be higher carb than, like, say, a keto diet, but they're still lower carb in the grand scheme of things and how a lot of people eat on a plant-based diet. So just keep that in mind when you're watching this video, and know that there are definitely ways that you can make this even more low carb if you want, or even keto. And I'll share different ways that you can do that throughout the video as I go through the recipes. All right, the first recipe I'm sharing with you is a cauliflower gnocchi dish with tomato sauce and an herb ricotta. I really like using Kite Hill ricotta. It's just really creamy and authentic to, like, real cow's milk ricotta, but feel free to use whatever dairy-free ricotta you prefer.
So you're gonna start out by laying out your frozen cauliflower gnocchi from Trader Joe's. Let it sit for 5 minutes on the counter. In the meantime, you can heat up a skillet over medium-high heat, add your oil, get it nice and hot, and then add your cauliflower gnocchi, and it should still be frozen. And you're gonna let it sit for like 3 to 5 minutes so it can get nice, crispy, and golden brown on one side, and then you can flip it and get it crispy on the other side. In the meantime, you can prepare whatever veggies you want to add into this. I like doing zucchini, so I'm just gonna spiralize it with this little spiralizer thing I got from Amazon. It was like 10 bucks. I can link it down below in case you don't have one. And once that's ready, I get my herbed ricotta all mixed together. So like I said earlier, I'm using Kite Hill ricotta. I add a couple pinches of salt, freshly cracked pepper, dry oregano, dried thyme, and some garlic powder. You can play with the measurements here, they don't have to be exact. Little drizzle of olive oil and some fresh herbs. You can use fresh parsley, basil, fresh oregano, whatever you want here. I'm using parsley, and then you're just gonna mix it together. And by this time, your cauliflower gnocchi should be crispy, heated all the way through. You can add your sauce of choice. I like tomato sauce for this dish. And once that's all good to go, you can plate it up with your veggies and spoon on your herb ricotta. And that is one of my favorite ways to eat Trader Joe's cauliflower gnocchi.
Next up, we have a tempeh stir fry with veggies, and I actually eat this sometimes for breakfast because if I'm in the mood for something savory, I tend to just do this because it's super easy. And it's great if you're trying to use up veggies in the fridge that are about to go bad. You can kind of throw whatever you want into this and season it however you want.
You're gonna start by steaming your tempeh. This is important because it takes the bitterness out of it. So what you're gonna do is open up the package that it comes in, tear it apart roughly, add it to a steamer basket, and let it steam with some water for about 20 minutes. And then you can get a pan nice and hot with a little bit of olive oil, add in whatever veggies you want. If you're doing broccoli, you want the pan to get really, really hot. Let the broccoli sit in the pan for a few minutes, and then give it a toss once it starts to brown up a little bit. And then I add a little bit of water to steam it slightly. This gets it like a really nice texture when it cooks. It's not too overcooked. And then I'm adding on some diced bell pepper. And then once the tempeh is done, you can ground that up and add that to the pan as well. And then we're gonna season it with some coconut aminos. I really love coconut aminos, gives it a slightly sweet flavor too. And then you can season it with whatever spices you want. I really like this blend from Trader Joe's. And like I said, yeah, add whatever veggies you want, whatever's in the fridge that you need to use up. You can add onions, tomatoes, Brussels sprouts, whatever tickles your fancy. And this is a great, quick, and easy meal.
Next up, we have lettuce tacos, and the meat for this that I'm using is from my upcoming ebook. It's a walnut and mushroom taco meat, and let me just tell you, it is bomb. So if you make this recipe and you like it, just wait till my ebook launches because there's gonna be more where that came from. Oh, girl.
So to start this taco meat, you are going to pour boiling water on a 1/4 cup of sun-dried tomatoes to soften them up. We're going to use them a little bit later. In the meantime, you can add 2 cups of toasted walnuts to a food processor and pulse them a few times. And then you can add in 1 8-ounce package of sliced mushrooms, whatever mushrooms you want. Blend those up, and this is the texture you're going for. And at this point I realized, oh shit, I forgot to add the sun-dried tomatoes. So do that here. Ideally they would be a little bit more ground up than they are in this video because I would have put them in earlier. So don't be like me, add them in and don't forget about them. And then after that you can start sauteing about half of an onion. I add a little bit of water in there to get it going. You can add oil or water, whichever one you prefer. And then you add in about 3 to 4 cloves of minced garlic. You're gonna let that get nice and fragrant in your pan. Then you can add your mushroom and walnut mixture and start cooking that. Now it's time to add our spices. So we have smoked paprika, chili powder, oregano, coriander, cumin, a pinch of red pepper flakes, and some salt. And you're gonna continue to cook that for a couple more minutes so the spices get nice and toasted in the pan. It really brings out the flavor. Then you're gonna add in a couple tablespoons of nutritional yeast. And now you can plate up your tacos, and I'm using iceberg lettuce cups. You can use romaine lettuce. You can make it a taco salad, whatever you want. And then I like adding some salsa as well. You can add in cashew sour cream, guacamole, just slices of avocado, whatever you're into.
Next up, we have a meal that I literally eat every week. Never fails. I could eat this every day and be satisfied. It's so good. Now, it does have rice paper in it because it's spring rolls, but you can make it low carb by wrapping it in like collard greens or like lettuce or whatever you want. You can just, there's lots of different ways that you can play with this, but I just like using rice paper because it's not like super carby, like a big ass bowl of rice or something like that. It's literally just the paper, and I only really need to eat like 3 or 4 of these to be completely satisfied. So that's why I added this to the video, but just know that you can make these more low carb and sub out something else for the rice papers.
You're gonna start by making your peanut sauce. So for this, you're gonna need a 1/4 cup of peanut butter, 1 tablespoon of soy sauce, 2 teaspoons of maple syrup, a tablespoon of roughly chopped fresh ginger, 2 to 3 cloves of garlic, half a cup of water, a dash of Sriracha, or like half a teaspoon. Blend that all together until it's nice and smooth. And you don't have to blend this. If you want, you can just mix it together. You just have to mince the garlic and the ginger really well. Inside the spring rolls, you can add whatever veggies you want. I am using shredded carrots, cucumber, red pepper, avocado, and tofu. And I also like adding in some lettuce greens and fresh herbs. So you can use basil, cilantro, mint, whatever you want. So to get the rice paper nice and soft for these spring rolls, I add some water to a large pan that will fit the rice paper, and then I put it on my stove and I put the heat on low just so it keeps the water nice and warm, and it just makes making the rice paper soft just an easier process because when the water is cold it doesn't work as well. And then you can dunk the rice paper, keep it under the water for about like 10 to 15 seconds until it's slightly soft. And then spread it on a flat surface. Layer in all of your ingredients. I start with the lettuce and then I pile everything else on. Make sure it's nice and sturdy and doesn't fall all over the place. And then once you have all your ingredients in, you can fold it up like a little burrito. And the rice paper will be nice and sticky, so it should roll up very well. And you just keep doing that until you use up all of your ingredients. And then I top mine with toasted sesame seeds, and then I like pouring the peanut sauce on top.
Last but not least, we have a buffalo cauliflower salad, which is so good, especially with my cashew ranch. Guys, I'm telling you, this shit is revolutionary.
So to start this salad, you're gonna of course make your buffalo cauliflower. So you're gonna cut a head of cauliflower into florets. And once that is ready to go, you can place it in a bowl, Tupperware container, whatever you want, and add in some Frank's Red Hot buffalo sauce. Add a good amount, just enough so it can like cover all of the florets. And I also add in about a tablespoon of olive oil. Give that a nice toss, and then you can spread them out on a parchment paper lined baking sheet. And then you are going to roast it in the oven at 425 for about 20 to 25 minutes. You want them to be nice and tender, slightly caramelized on the outside, and that's when you know they're done. In the meantime, we can make our ranch. So you're gonna add 1 cup of soaked cashews, about half a cup of water, the juice of half a lemon, 1 tablespoon of apple cider vinegar, half a teaspoon of Dijon mustard, a teaspoon of onion powder, and a teaspoon of garlic powder. Blend that together until it's really, really smooth, and feel free to adjust the consistency by adding more water if you want. And then once it's blended, you can add in the rest of the ingredients. So I add in about 1/2 to 3/4 of a teaspoon of salt, freshly cracked pepper, and a couple tablespoons or a 1/4 cup of fresh herbs. I really like using fresh parsley or fresh dill. And then you stir that together and your ranch is ready to go for your salad. For this salad, I really like adding cucumber, red onion, and tomato. I think it just goes really well together.
Really hope you guys liked the video this week. If you did, give it a thumbs up and comment down below which meal you're gonna try first. Oh, and follow me on Instagram because your girl's trying to get to 10K for that swipe up feature, you know what I'm saying? And you will not be disappointed because I am serving out hot and fresh content all the time over there. So if you're not in on the fun games on my Instagram, you're really missing out. Don't forget to take care of yourself this week, eat good food, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!
Diet Coke ain't good for the soul. Give me that orange soda. Peel me a grape like you see in the movies. Bubble to the top like a smoothie, you'll see. I'll do you like a 9 to 5. Wake